Good evening, we're live on Facebook. This is the Derby debrief. Derby County 0, Cambridge United 0 inside Pride Park. Shaun Barker alongside us. That was a frustrating afternoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the right word, frustrating. I had high expectations before the game. I really believe that... I wasn't going to remind you. I just got it in there before you did. Yeah, I really felt that today was going to be the day that we had the all-round performance, result, kind of confidence. And I feel it was there. It just needed that first goal. We were dominant throughout. We had very few worrying moments over the course of 90 minutes. We had chances ourselves. We had got in good positions. And ultimately, with all that dominance, with all that control, with all that possession, we didn't test the goalkeeper enough. And that was the disappointment. That was the frustration, that when we got into that final third, or when we created an opportunity, we didn't have either the quality, the decision making at times for me wasn't quite at it, and you didn't take any chances that were presented to you.
Because when you look back actually at their goalkeeper and what he did or didn't have to do, he made that save that was straight at him in the first few minutes. If that had been gone in, it could have been a very, very different afternoon.
Well, it would have
anticipated.
Yeah, well, we started the game great on the front foot, and over that course of the first 45 minutes, I thought Barkhazen was a real handful. Got in so many good positions in around the edge of the box, but again, didn't make the most of them. And I don't think it was until maybe the 70th minute that the goalkeeper was asked to make a save again. There was a couple of better chances in the second half. Collins had a good chance that was unfortunate, it came off the defender. Waghorn had that glorious chance with the ball from Mendes-Lang. So there were chances, there were enough chances to win the game, but when you're that dominant and you have that many good positions, I just left a little frustrated that we didn't make the most of them. And I've got no doubt that the manager will mention set pieces as well, because we were talking on commentary saying, when it's tight, when you can't find the opening, when you can't make that little bit of magic or have that little bit of quality, when you need it in a game that's like this, set pieces could be huge, and we were poor from our delivery and never really tested them enough in the box.
Let's find out what the manager has to say, because we can hear from him now.
Well, Paul, 0-0 in the end. What are your thoughts after that?
Pretty frustrated, obviously. I thought we played really well. We could have scored virtually in the first minute of the game, and there wasn't a lot wrong with our play. The lads sort of took what we said really well. We moved the ball along the back line, dropped into a 3 to try and move it quickly and get out the other way, and we had loads of attacking play first half, loads of good wing play. But in fairness to Mark and his team, they defended really well. Every time we got the ball, they got 10 men behind the ball and made it difficult. And our midfielders kept dropping back past the strikers to try and help. But then you're sort of leaving yourself 6v10, so it's hard to break down. But that aside, no team's going to come here and get their belly rubbed. So I thought the lads played against it really well. However, it's goals that, fundamentally people turn up and pay to watch. So they want to see goals, they want to see goal-mouth action, and we created enough chances in this game to handsomely win, I think, but we didn't take them. And fundamentally, if you don't take them, there's always a chance you're going to get done on the sucker punch. We tried to change the system, made some subs to try and change it, probably to get us a bit more luck, really, and it just didn't fall for us in the box. And that's what's disappointing. That, and I thought our set pieces were pretty woeful. So, and I've said to the group, and I'm happy to say it now, that last year I thought there was loads of tough games at home, loads of tight games. Like I just remember the Sheffield Wednesday more than anyone. But in them tight games, a set piece can get you a goal, and the afternoon takes a different pattern. But our delivery from different players today wasn't at the level to help us win. And in tight games like that, sometimes it is a work set piece that can take you the win, and it wasn't to be. So. Before you ask me another question, on the whole, I'm really pleased with the performance, but obviously disappointed. I don't want the crowd to boo when the final whistle goes. That's not what we're involved in football for. We want to excite people and bring wins at home, because our away form's been really good. But that's probably the best we've played in weeks, and only a point to show for it, which is disappointing.
You mentioned before when we spoke after home games that there have been things that you didn't necessarily like in the performances. Did you feel that this was sort of a step forward in that regard then? You're just frustrated that you kind of didn't get rewarded for that?
Yeah, really. I mean, we had a couple of really good chances first half. Nat did, Tom did. And I thought the two wide men caused them real problems. The two fullbacks played really well. There's some really good performances. I thought Ryan on his home debut was excellent. Tyrese was really good in the middle again, with Corey and Nelson. Cash hardly put a foot wrong, and we limited them to very few chances. So I don't come in here like angry about, this should have happened, that should have happened. Like, I've said to the lads, they're going to make mistakes, I understand that, but I want them to be positive. And I thought, our play overall merited a win. But like I said already, Mark's team was set up and they're happy with their point, and they've worked really hard for their point. They've had to change certain players during the game because we were causing problems. And, he'll be happy with his point and feel like it's well deserved. And it feels like to us, everyone who's got a ram on their chest possibly, that it's 2 points dropped. And that's how it feels. We can do everything, but unfortunately we just couldn't get it over the line.
But you are 4 games unbeaten now, and I think that unbeaten run last year, it started with a few draws and you gained that sort of habit of not losing games. Is that the sort of hope that you've got, that you're starting to gently build a bit of momentum if you can?
Yeah, I did come into this game fully confident. It does feel like we've sort of got the main men back. Connor will join in Monday, so he'll be potentially available for Tuesday, so that's a result. And there was loads of positives. So if I came, if we'd have scored in the 88th minute today, I'd come in here and think there's nothing massively wrong. And Cambridge are doing as well as us for points, so it's not like, they're bottom with 0 and we've got 24 or something. So it's not a game like that. I'm not disrespectful to the league at all. I just think that, we just didn't do enough to score the goal. And, I don't think our keeper had a real save to make. Oh, he did actually, a long distance one, yeah, sorry. So we limited them to very, very little. But like I said, it's just disappointing we didn't score. And if we would have scored, everything feels amazing. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. And, sometimes that's how football is.
That's 3 clean sheets on the spin now as well. Do you feel that you're pretty confident in terms of what you've got in the back line? You look very solid at the moment.
Yeah, really good. And Sonny's trained really well as well. So Sonny's right at the chomping at the bit to get in the team. Obviously, Kane is. Kane gives us more excitement, as in his attacking player. That sounds really offensive, whereas Ryan's a really strong defensive player. So I feel like the units are working really well, and it hasn't looked like we're really going to concede. The same last week, only long-range shots. So yeah, really pleasing on that. But to win games, you have to score in games, and unfortunately, today was another day where we didn't take our chances, and we go home feeling disappointed. And you're only those little moments today, we probably weren't as good as we should have been.
You mentioned Conor Hourihane potentially back on Tuesday at Blackpool. You got Max Bird on for a couple of minutes today, which is clearly encouraging. And in terms of injuries, just Callum Elder, the situation with him?
Yeah, Callum has had an operation on his hernia. It sounds horrendous, but it isn't really. He had an op a while back on one side, and what normally happens is if one side's gone, the other side counteracts, and then that goes. And he's just been in a little bit of pain for the last couple of weeks, and he felt like his performances were deteriorating a little bit. So we took the opportunity to do the op while we had sort of strength in depth, really. And he should be back at the training ground already, but by the time the international break's over, he should be fully fit. So it isn't as dramatic as it sounds. He just had a bit of keyhole surgery, which was always a ticking time bomb for him, really. So, so that's all it is on him.
An emotional moment after 31 minutes, the whole stadium rising and applauding Josh Vickers, and to remember his late wife. Must have been I saw you with your head down. It was another emotional moment.
Yeah, I knew Laura, and obviously I love Josh. So, difficult. I'd like to thank everyone who was in this stadium today, to be honest, and the Cambridge United fans showed full respect. And I know footballers and football fans get bad press, but at times, but generally we're really good people, everyone. And I just thought it was fitting, harrowing, sad, but also nice in a weird way. I don't know if I'm getting my words out right, but it was. And I know that Laura's family were here today to support Josh as well, and it's been tough for him. And so it was just unfortunate that we couldn't win for her as well. That would have been the icing on the cake.
And just lastly, you've got 2 away games now next week, Blackpool and Cheltenham. It's time to sort of dust yourself down and go again pretty quickly.
Two tough games. Obviously, Blackpool have been picking up since we played them early in the season. So that'd be a tough game. Cheltenham obviously changed their manager recently, so that's never an easy place to go. And, unfortunately, I'll be honest about it, that if you don't pick wins up at home, it puts more pressure on your away form. So hopefully we can perform in the next 2 games, and then obviously the Notts County game before the international break. But we need to turn draws into wins, because if you're going to get promoted and be up and around, draws aren't much good to you. They might be at the end of the season. You might look back. That might be the one point that gets us where we want to be. But from performance today, I thought we deserved a win, but unfortunately, you don't always get what you deserve.
Well, I think the Derby County head coach, they're sharing our frustration, echoing quite a lot of the thoughts that we said both in commentary and today. Set pieces, and you mentioned it before we heard from the interview, really disappointing today. Yeah,
they were, and it can be the difference between winning a game and drawing. And it felt like the game was kind of running away from us. We had so many kind of bright moments in the first half. We had a couple of really good chances in the second. And after the changes, it kind of just went flat in the grounds for whatever reason. And then it just felt like it was getting away from us. And those set pieces, especially in the last 10 minutes, think how many goals you can score when it's the final 10 minutes of a game and teams are mentally and physically tired and not switched on and not maybe marking and changes with substitutions. They're the moments that you have to grab when it's not working kind of in open play. And the frustrating thing for me would have been, if I'm a centre half and I'm going up and I'm looking to challenge, I want the ball landed in an area that I can challenge it and compete for. So many hit the front post or was overhit. It just didn't give those players a chance. And set pieces, and the manager knows it can be the difference in certain games.
There were 2 moments in that game where I was expecting Derby to really push on and go on. One was when they came back out after half-time and it was flat, didn't happen. And then when the changes were made and Tom Barkes and Martin Waghorn went off, Louis Sibley came on, Connor Washington came on. Again, then I thought, oh, this is it, this is the moment. They're just going to sort of go up a gear here. And again, didn't happen. Yeah,
key moments. The second half, I thought it was disappointing how we came out the first 5 minutes. We wanted that impetus to kick on and to drive on and to get the crowd behind us, and it was a little bit slow coming out for the second half. The changes, I thought, kind of just affected it in a disappointing way, because I was surprised he took Barks off in the first place. I know he looked a little tired and fatigued and wasn't getting maybe some of the joy he was previously in the game, but his movement caused them problems. He was always looking to come inside the pitch and come short, and then 2 minutes later would make those darting runs in behind, and he always looked a threat. And also with Fozzie pushing up the pitch, at times when Barks comes in, it was Fozzie that was getting in behind. So I was a little surprised that Sibbs came on for him. I thought Sibbs would come in that 10 position where Waggy was, who didn't have that much of an effect in the game today. So there were 2 moments that obviously disappointed you and maybe would have frustrated some of the fans in the ground, because you hope those moments kind of lift the group and lift the team and go on to get you the 3 points. But again, we'll repeat, there was lots of positive things about the game. The frustration and the frustrating thing is that we didn't get the 3 points, because we were the team that were going to win that game. We were the dominant team. We were the ones that were creating the chances. But if you don't have that quality and that key detail in the final thirds, you won't score.
Yeah, you talked about if you were a centre-half, you were a centre-half. So another clean sheet, let's take that positive. And, the manager was talking there, Aaron Cashin not putting a foot wrong. We spoke before the game about the importance of these partnerships. Again, partnership at the back, Cashin and Nelson again, didn't really look troubled.
No, the 2 centre-halves are looking more and more comfortable week in, week out. The back 4, with Nambi coming in at right back, he's so solid defensively and offers that security, and with that allows Fozzie just to go up the pitch at times and try and support, which he did throughout the game. Keeping clean sheets is massive if you want to try and get into the top 6, especially in these games that are tight and you maybe not got the quality to get the goals. Keeping a clean sheet, making sure you get a point first and foremost, and anything beyond that is obviously a plus. But defensively we look solid. I thought Fauna in the first half was excellent. At times the second half were very good, just picking up second balls and positive play. Corey Smith is always steady. You look at the final third, if you've got a solid base, you've got a consistent back 4, you're keeping clean sheets, it's then up to the attacking players to get you goals, and unfortunately they came up short today.
And you understand the frustration at the end, because you look at James Collins, you look at Martin Waghorn, we've spoken at length already this season about how they've got goals in the games. You look at players like Barker and Mendes-Lang who can unlock the door. Just didn't happen today. So that's where the reaction at the end comes in?
Yeah, I think if you look at maybe Colo and Waggy, for long spells, especially in the first 45 minutes, they didn't have much of the ball. They weren't involved in the play. It was all about Barkhuizen's runs in beyond and clever passes in behind, and Mendes-Lang in the second half, especially when he was drifting out to that right-hand side. They weren't that connected with the rest of the players, so it was up to that final ball to be bang on, to be spot on, and it wasn't. So Barks was guilty, even though I thought he played really well and was a real threat at times, getting in the box and not finding that final pass, or maybe trying too hard to find the perfect pass and the perfect cross. I mentioned in commentary, sometimes it's just about putting the ball across goal as quickly as possible and as hard as possible, because as a defender going back towards your own goal, that's what you don't want to see, because even a leg that gets stuck out can result in an own goal. So maybe at times trying to be too cute, and maybe little moments just passed us by, but we had enough chances, we had enough dominance, we had enough of the ball to win the game. And we haven't, and that'll be the frustrating thing, I think, for the manager, not necessarily the performance.
Well, let's go back to the dressing room area now, and we can hear from the Derby goalkeeper, Joe Wildsmith.
Joe, goalless draw today, is that 2 points dropped or one gained?
It's 2 points dropped, really. I mean, the performance was there. It was just the chances that we didn't take. So disappointing. Lads are in there are disappointed, and it's one of them games where we dominated from start to finish, created chances, but like I said, it is 2 points dropped, and but we want to take the positives from the game. We dominated the game, and we take that into Tuesday and take it to Blackpool.
It's another game at home that seemed quite difficult. You finding it harder at home this season, do you feel?
It is difficult when teams come here and they had a game plan of sitting off and putting 10 men behind the ball, so it's difficult to break down at times, but we know we've got enough quality in there to break through teams and create chances, and we create chances today. So as much as it is difficult, we've got the ability in there to create those chances. It was just on another day we take them, and today we didn't. So it is difficult, and but like I said, we've got enough confidence and ability in the changing room to deal with that.
Cliche, I know, but if you're not going to win the game, you've got to make sure you don't lose it. And when they did put the pressure on towards the end with set pieces, you stood up firm to that, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. It's good. Another sort of building block. Obviously, we've 3 clean sheets in a row now, so lads are feeling confident, especially defensively. And Ryan's slotted in really nice at right back. So yeah, it's nice to have a sort of steady back four and people building relationships, and I think that's showing in obviously the clean sheets. And but that's a team effort, like I say, coming back for set plays and defending at wide free kicks. It's a real team effort, and if we can build on them clean sheets and make days like today into wins, because we definitely had the chances to make it a really comfortable win, then we can really sort of start climbing up the league and putting pressure on.
Yeah, you look back to last season when you had that run of clean sheets, they really were the springboard to a really good run, weren't they?
100%, and like I said, I know it's obviously 2 points dropped, but we haven't lost the game, and we can build on that and maybe go on a bit of a run now. So yeah, we haven't won, but let's keep positive and take what's good out of the game, because there was a lot of good things, and take it into the next 2 games in what's been a busy week.
For yourself, it was a fairly quiet day, but around 70 minutes you'd have to come up with an important save, didn't you? How difficult is it to keep concentration in a game like this?
Yeah, it is, and I think the biggest thing for me is keep talking to the back line, keep them switched on, keeps me switched on because I'm talking to them. So we spoke with Andy, the goalie coach, before the start of the season about sort of being switched on and ready for things in games like this. So I think that's where you sort of you show your worth as a goalkeeper. It's okay when you're sort of getting bombarded, there's no time to switch off, but in these games where there's not a lot going on at your end and the team are dominating, it's about keeping the 2 centre-halves and full-backs engaged and ready for counter-attacks, and then obviously when called upon being ready to do my job, really. So yeah, it's positive, the clean sheets, and hopefully we can keep building on that and
sort of create a springboard for wins, really.
You mentioned Blackpool yourself. I suppose what you go up there and do sort of determines whether today's a good point or not, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. It'll be a tough game. Obviously, they came here start the season in the Carabao Cup, and we weren't at our best. So we need to go up there and really prove a point, and we will do. Lads are confident, and lads are sort of taking confidence from the game today. And I'm sure on any other day, the chances we created get put away. So we go there in good spirits and ready to take it to them.
I want to touch on a really emotional moment in the 31st minute today for Josh Vickers, someone you're very close to. How difficult have the last few weeks been for you as a goalkeeper unit, and obviously you know Josh very well too?
Yeah, it is difficult and it's absolutely devastating, obviously, what happened to Laura and the lads around Josh, and I just want to pay my respects to sort of him and his family, and our thoughts are with them all at this tragic time for them, and I just hope that he knows that everyone at Derby is behind him, and I think everyone showed that on 31 minutes. Even the Cambridge fans showed their respects, which was really nice, and yeah, lads around him. He's been in the last couple of days, and I think it's been really good for him. He's been in and around the lads, in and around obviously the goalkeepers. We've tried to keep things sort of high spirits, and yeah, it's great to have him back involved today in the matchday squad. But yeah, he's a great lad.
Nice words there from the goalkeeper Joe Wildsmith. Let's have a look then at results elsewhere in League One today. Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1. Exeter City 0, Northampton 2. Fleetwood Town beat Leyton Orient by 1-0. Good win for Lincoln City as well, beating Cheltenham Town by 2-0. Peterborough United a win at home against Bristol Rovers. Again, they're the scoreline 2-0. Port Vale losing at home to Bolton Wanderers by 1-0. It was goalless between Reading and Burton. Goalless as well between Shrewsbury Town and Charlton Athletic. Stevenage lost at home by 3-1 against Oxford United, going well this season. Wigan Athletic 1, Portsmouth 2, Wycombe Wanderers 2, Carlisle United 0. So how does that affect the League One table? Well, we can see Derby there in 12th, so still top half of the table with 14 points from their 9 games. Blackpool, we know they're up next. They are just a point and a place above Derby. So at the top, Portsmouth and Oxford United. And let's have a little look at the bottom of the table. Cheltenham Town still there with just a point, with Fleetwood, Wigan and Reading. Cambridge United now have dropped to 13th in the table, this afternoon's opponents. So it was interesting, wasn't it, to hear just from Joe Wildsmith there. He's been obviously in great form, had to maintain his concentration today, didn't have a lot to do. At no point did we think that Cambridge were going to get something more from that game, did we?
No, I think the dominance was that one-sided. For long spells, we kept the ball, we were patient in possession, we were trying to create opportunities in the final third, and Cambridge never really had that little bit of quality or a little bit of spark to catch us out maybe on the transitions from defending so deep and then countering. There had a couple of moments in the second half where, from set pieces, and Joe obviously had to make a couple of what you call fairly routine saves for him. But in general, it was only one team that were going to win it, and it was just a shame that we didn't have that little edge to get us over the line. Back
Tuesday night for Blackpool, place you know.
Yeah, another tough game. Blackpool are doing well this season and always been competitive in League One, so it's a tough one for us. But we know that if we turn up and we are on full song and playing well, that we can beat any team in this league.
Well, thanks very much to Shaun Barker. You might be pleased to know that Owen Bradley is back with you. Remember him? He's back with you on Tuesday night for that game. It was an afternoon where we were expecting glory and goals, and what did we get? We got pressure, possession and a point. Good night.